Alright, so last week we managed to create a story about the world's most insufferable summer camp. This week we're going to try something new, so I think I'll start with a setting card, just to give us an idea of where the story will be taking place. We have the suburban paradise. Little brick houses with white picket fences all in a row. This is the American dream made reality. Things here may seem perfect. In fact, they may even be perfect. Therein lies the conflict. Speaking of the conflict, Casey.
Yeah, suddenly ghosts! Everything was going fine. Till all of a sudden ghosts. Either the protagonists discover they can talk to ghosts, or they can become one. The conflict is clear. Someone needs help crossing over. The dead have come to make the vengeance upon the living.
Alright, so I'm not thinking the protagonist can suddenly talk to ghosts. I'm thinking more they might get hit by a truck or something. We'll see.
So it's a perfect one.
Right. Well, people die in paradise all the time. What do you have? I imagine something we've already
drawn. This is just a light novel.
What is it?
The Mary Sue.
Okay, go ahead and read it.
A Mary Sue is a usually female character whose defining characteristic is being perfect in every way. The word is often used as an insult to characters, and generally speaking, if the world revolves around the character, they are a Mary Sue.
Alright, very nice. So,
Ghosts.
Yeah,
Mary
ghosts.
Sue.
So,
What
are
else
they
we got?
talking to the ghosts or do they become the ghosts? What
Well,
do we
we
think?
need more
Talking to
information.
the
We need a
ghosts.
genre.
We need a genre? Alright, Casey, pass me the hat.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can get us.
Something good.
Something good?
New
Yeah.
slam.
I'm pretty sure they're all good. It's just a matter of how well they work here.
Yeah.
We have romance!
Oh no.
R-O-M-A-N-C-E! We have a ghost romance, everybody! That's never happened before!
Yeah.
Who are they romancing?
Alright, Casey, why don't you draw a genre? No, okay. Here's the character. Go ahead. This will be the love interest.
Alright. The obsessed hobbyist. Did you know it's possible to have a life beyond your hobby? Well, no one ever told this poor sap. They so spend every waking moment talking about or engaging in their favorite hobby.
Ghost catcher.
Oh.
So that's the way it'll work. We have a ghost catcher and someone who...
Can talk to ghosts.
Or is a ghost. I haven't
Yeah, he's a
decided
ghost.
yet.
He's a
We
ghost.
haven't decided if they've died yet.
What's a romance?
Yeah, it is a romance.
Actually, it'd be interesting both ways. Like, they can
Yeah.
talk to ghosts and the guy who hunts them.
Yeah.
Or the person who...
So they're like...
I think it's the person who can talk to ghosts.
Yeah,
More original, actually.
Yeah, that's fair. I imagine the way we're doing this, if it's set in the suburban paradise, we're talking about something very vanilla, very, milk, bread, white toast, all that stuff.
Right. But there's a problem underneath, which is the ghost infestation
Yeah, well,
of Cthulhu.
it depends how you
Yeah.
view ghosts. Some people don't view them necessarily as a bad thing, just as a thing that's hanging around like, hey, what's going on over here? Alright, son, I finally showed up to your football game, even though I died 3 weeks ago. I don't know, what do you think?
What kind of ghosts are these? I mean, if they can't pass on, is it because it's perfect and they don't want to leave?
We could do a theme. This will help determine exactly how the ghosts are sticking around. Now, where does the ghost power come from?
The power of love.
Hey!
What's more powerful than hate? Love.
Okay, so what keeps them hanging around? Love does.
Oh, they love their family.
Yeah. And the ghost catcher's going around to help them move on.
Yeah.
By
They
force.
love your family.
Yeah, they'll be fine without you.
Okay.
Alright.
They won't even know you're gone.
They never knew you were here.
You're already gone anyway.
Ooh, so spooky.
Alright.
You're already dead.
You know, it occurs to me that we're a little late for a Halloween special, but I'll take it.
Nani?
Thank you, Casey. Where should we go from here? So we have Mary Sue. Do they die or not? Do we know?
No,
Okay.
they don't die.
They're not dead. So they can talk to ghosts.
It seems love is a very common thing in this.
So they can talk to ghosts.
Right.
They start hanging out with this guy who catches ghosts.
Right. Well,
And
But do they know?
do they know that
Do
the
they
person
know
can
the
talk
feeling?
to ghosts?
Yes.
You're asking.
Did the ghost catcher know?
Know what?
They can
That
talk to
Mary
ghosts.
Sue can talk to ghosts.
I
How do we
imagine-
find out?
I imagine that's what interests the two in each other in the first place.
Yeah.
So beginning it with her talking to someone who's actually a ghost, and him being the only person realizing they're not just crazy and talking to themselves.
Okay. Well, I think this is a very nice, short, sweet story.
Yeah, this is. How do we want to build on it? Because we need a little bit more than what we currently have. I know what we have is safe. and it's technically good, but it's about a 5-minute short story.
Right.
Do you want an additional conflict?
We could go an additional conflict, an additional
We need
character,
season
an
2.
additional setting.
Season 2, everyone.
How about episode 2? What we have here is episode 1. We have the girl finds out she can talk to ghosts, or perhaps she always knew. She runs into someone else who can talk to ghosts.
Whose turn is it to draw?
That would be mine. What are we drawing?
Conflict.
All right, another conflict. Let's go.
Something romantic.
A favor for an old friend. We all have old friends, people we have not seen in ages but remember fondly. But what happens when they show up in the dead of night in a cold sweat, asking for a favor? You take it without a second thought. So this could be someone asking to speak to their dead grandmother again. This could be a ghost showing up and saying, "Hey, remember me? I need you to explain to my mom that I really, really, really am sorry I got hit by that bus." What do you think?
Yeah, so you just gotta exercise a ghost?
Yeah. Well, not exercise a ghost. Perform the last wishes of a
Take
ghost.
him jogging.
You know, I know this is weird, but I can't pass on until this friend of mine loses about 15 pounds.
Got it. Can do, and they can't let him know, because that'd be like, they think they're insane, so they gotta kind of sneak it them.
I'm not gonna lie, I think what you need is the old friend.
Old friend, yeah.
Old friend. They can either be looking for a ghost, so they could either be looking to talk to a ghost, or they could be a ghost looking to talk to a living person.
The gentle giant. Oh. They may be big, they may be scary, but the gentle giant has a heart of gold. Often they are portrayed as a little slow or unintelligent, and other times they're just a big softy. Either way, the bigger they are, the larger their heart.
Okay, so we're talking about a big, spooky-looking ghost who's like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're like, I'm so scared. Well, which one's more terrifying? Gentle giant approach, right?
Wait,
the
so the old friend
better.
is dead?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
Because they're asking a favor for the living.
Exactly. Or the person who's living is asking for a favor that involves the big, spooky ghost.
Right.
Or the big guy is asking for the favor.
Mm-hmm. No, big guy's the ghost asking for the favor.
The favor for an old friend implies that this person is someone they know. Yeah. They don't necessarily need to know well, but they do know. They haven't seen each other in a while. So, what's the relation between...
Well, maybe he already exercised him a long time ago, but he came back because he forgot something.
One more thing! They're like walking into the light, they turn around and like, one more thing, before I forget.
Because no one else is going to do it.
I like the idea, because we need to determine which it is. Like, this would be the first actual conflict. If we're talking about a serialized TV special type thing, we'd be talking about, this would be episode 2, okay? Episode 1 is the introduction into who these characters are. Episode 2 is the first time they actually do something.
Right.
And that something would basically be either helping this big scary ghost move on, or helping out this big scary guy talk to a ghost.
Big scary ghost.
Yeah, that works. What do you think, Andy? Should we introduce a new character?
That works.
Yeah. New character setting.
How many episodes would that take to do?
Well, the point is that what we need is to keep this thing going. So let's say, for example, 12 episodes. 12 episodes is fairly standard.
So we'll have that subplot take up 3 episodes.
Right. That's a lot of time. Well, serialized, that is right. So what's the next arc then?
The
first arc is learning.
Another conflict.
Right. All right. So, Casey has 3 out of 3. Andy, why don't you draw us a conflict?
The election. Who is being elected and to what office? That is up to you. What matters are the speeches, the flyers, banners, and the vague references to modern politics.
Okay. So before we go any further with the election, I'm going to draw a genre. Okay. Because I have a thought on what we could do with the election, but it would only work if we draw a specific kind of genre.
Oh, no. What if you draw the wrong one, though?
Alternate history.
Oh, no.
So, I think that we'll be set in, like, the 60s or something. Who knows? Yeah, if we're doing the suburban paradise, we definitely want it to be set during either the 60s or some other time in the quote-unquote idyllic past of America. Mm-hmm. So
we should probably do the election.
Yeah, actually. Local election. So what we could do is,
what are they running for?
It wouldn't necessarily be what they're running for, but who's running. So you could do the idea that a murderer is running for office,
or maybe they're both running.
Who's both running?
The guy and the girl.
Oh, they're both running for class president?
No. Oh. I mean, like, they're both running for the office of ghost administrator, and
Okay.
They have a
Hold on,
contest over
So
which one will win.
let's
and one
say
of them
Casey,
is really good with ghosts. The other knows how to talk to them.
at school they create this ghost club around episode 3, okay? For people who want to go catch ghosts. It has a total of 3 members in it. Those 2 and one other who just randomly shows up one day.
Who is
The
that
election, we'll determine that in a second. Casey, why don't you draw it, but don't reveal it yet? The election is determined between the 2 founding members and the 1 new member of the club for who's going to run the club. So, literally, it's just after school, they're like, okay, so who's in charge? And the 2 are just like, I am at the same time, so now they need an election. Who's the person they're trying to win the vote of?
The rightful heir.
Okay, go ahead and read it.
The result of court or murder of a parent, this righteous heir to the kingdom has been denied their birthright. Their thoughts on the matter can vary wildly, but one thing is certain: balance cannot be achieved until they take the throne or are brutally murdered.
What are they the rightful heir to?
Their family's fortune.
That's fair.
No, the throne.
The literal throne.
Yes, it's the prince. Sorry, the Prince of England. Yes.
It's literally the entire art.
No, there's a way to make this work. You could do where they're the rightful heir to, say, the class presidency.
There's a sad plot twist in episode 8. The character actually gets murdered.
No,
They don't show it, but he just never comes back to school.
No, Casey, don't be
It's a very
ridiculous.
sad story. It's hidden behind the mask of a perfect town.
So the question actually becomes, what are they heir to? Okay, they can be
Yeah.
heir to a fortune. They can be heir to
the school.
some office. Heir to the school. They're the principal's son.
Yeah.
There you go. They're the principal's son. By the way, this should go without saying. They're the one who ends up winning the election. Like the other 2 can't agree. So he's like, okay, I'll be in charge. Would we
I
need?
vote
I have a
for myself.
3-way tie.
No, like those 2 vote for each other.
Mhm.
Oh wait, no.
No, they vote for themselves, and then he shows up, or she. I haven't decided yet.
Or maybe they get one of their goonies to join the club for a day, and then they
Actually,
vote
tell you
for
what,
them.
we'll have the 4th member of the club. This is the person who offsets the vote by voting either for one of the 2 main characters or the 3rd person who just randomly shows up.
Get it. We'll see who it is.
The redhead stepchild. This trope refers to a character that is not related by blood to either of their parents. Despite the name, they do not need to have red hair, but it is a clear identifier of their identity as someone who is different.
Okay,
Alright. I think I know how we're gonna do this.
how are you going to do this?
The girl who can talk to the dead wins the election.
Why do you say that?
Because they can talk to the real parents. And
What-
because the redhead doesn't have the real parents.
Right, no, so the redheaded stepchild is the 4th person to show up, right?
Right?
Yeah.
So my first thought would be having them be the adopted sibling of the rightful heir,
Oh.
who convinces, hey, little brother, vote for me. They're like, yeah, sure, I'll do that.
I just like the idea of a struggle.
Well, that's the question of how do you implement a struggle here?
That's a good point.
Let's be honest, the story may be about talking to ghosts, but not every scene needs to involve talking to ghosts.
Alright, yeah, that's true.
I know we haven't drawn a slice of life in this,
Right.
but I do imagine that. Besides, if we are going to go the route of romance, which is one of the 2 genres we drew,
Right.
neither one should win office, otherwise it immediately places them as the dominant person in the pair.
Right.
That being said, Andy did draw the Mary Sue card, and the Mary
Yeah.
Sue never loses.
Oh, that's true.
So- I think we have
a
ourselves
paradox.
not a paradox, but a question. Do we want to play up the trope or play down the trope? Do we want to play up the trope of the person of the perfect individual
Play it
suddenly
down.
losing?
Play it down.
In that case, the big upset is that the person you assume is going to win loses.
Right.
Mhm.
So the obvious choice is that the main character would win and become class president, but instead they lose.
Club president.
Same difference. A club of 4 people, mind you. It's the president, vice president, secretary, and chairman.
Well, now we need the final conflict.
The final conflict?
Right.
Well, this would be what the whole story's building to then. So the story starts, they help the gentle giant cross over, and then they start doing class stuff. Here's the thing. I say we have this be the conflict running at the same time as the election, and then do another conflict to end it all.
Okay.
So we have this would be the midpoint conflict going on at the same time as the
Or it
class
could
election.
be the end point, depending on how serious the conflict
That's
is.
true. So, the innocent bystander. There they were, minding their own business when it happened. Now the protagonist is caught up in a world they do not understand with characters they do not know. Don't worry, I'm sure they'll be fine.
It's one of the ghosts.
No.
Huh?
Redheaded stepchild is the innocent bystander. That's how they get them in the club.
Oh.
So for 2 or 3 episodes, there's this idea of who's going to be club president. They have 3 people. Each one votes for themselves. They need a 4th person to offset the vote. And at the same time, this redheaded stepchild, boy or girl, it doesn't really matter, parent dies, they get taken in by either the main character, the love interest, or the rightful heir. And while they're living with this new family, their parents are still watching over them, keeping them out of trouble, keeping an eye on them, keeping them safe. And while you have the class election brewing or the club election brewing, you also have this new character show up and provide some interesting dynamic to the story. What do you think?
I like it.
All right, Andy?
That's good.
All right, what else should we do?
Well, don't we need the final conflict?
We should have the final conflict, that's true.
John, me or Andy?
I believe you have 4, I have...
my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
This is an interesting one. A deal with the devil. When in doubt, sell your soul to the Prince of Darkness. That is bound to go well. This is not limited to the devil and can encompass any evil entity, from governments to monsters under the bed. Now that the deal is made, there is a price that must be paid.
Alright, so that's interesting. So the final act of the story is...
I think
Evolve.
Yes.
girl dies and he makes a deal with
No.
himself.
One of the 4, because we have currently 4 main characters in this
Well, you
case.
know, that could be the big bad.
Well, the devil is most certainly the big bad, but
No,
it's a
I
question
mean
of
the guy
who
who
made...
did it is being the big
that's
bad.
true. So we could draw a character who made a deal with the devil that they have to defeat. It could be one of the 4 makes a deal with the devil. Say the redheaded stepchild wants to get their parents back to life, so they make a deal with the devil.
I like one of the main 2 protagonists making a deal with the devil.
Right, but what for?
The best way, in my opinion, to do it would be one of them dies and they have to make a deal to bring him back.
Yes, but this is very much a non-serious story.
What are the genres?
We have alternate history and romance. If you want to draw a new genre and try and get something more serious, it's Andy's turn.
Yeah.
So, Andy, go ahead and draw. Let's see if we can get something like horror. Be careful. There's stuff like westerns in there, and I don't think you want that.
What is it? Is it Western?
You doomed us all, you fool!
What is it?
Musical!
Oh no! It's a musical. We've made the best episode
What have
of
you
Futurama.
done?
just the one episode.
Yeah.
Just the one episode is a musical, but it is a musical.
It's like in Futurama.
Yeah, well, that is the best episode of Futurama, in my opinion. It was the original series finale until it got renewed again.
Oh.
So, how do we implement the musical? Does the person make a deal with the devil that people can only sing?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's really simple. Or you just have a ghost that keeps going around and making it so people have to sing.
Maybe. There are many ways we could do this.
Guys, no, I think I know what we're doing.
What?
They are also in the drama club.
Oh.
And so the class is putting on a stage play of Romeo and Juliet.
Oh.
Because it's always Romeo and Juliet.
Got it.
And the 2 main characters are Romeo and Juliet, because of course they are.
Wait. So, I have an idea. The
Yeah.
deal with the devil is that the principal, right? He should be the devil they makes a deal with.
Okay.
Is saying that he will kick the science guy out of the school if he doesn't let the preppy guy be Romeo.
Oh, I like this. Because, like I said, the deal with the devil, it doesn't have to be the actual literal devil.
Yeah.
So here's what we're doing. We're doing a musical of Romeo and Juliet, which, by the way, is not a musical. Okay.
But they turned it into it's school.
Yeah. So, explain in more detail. So the principal wants his son to be Romeo, or her son.
Right.
I need to flip a coin every time I raise that question of guy or girl. Hold on. I'm going to get a coin real quick. I need to determine this because we're going to draw on this, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I think
what are you thinking? Heads boy, tails girl?
heads
Yeah.
boy.
Okay, so, principal. It fell on the floor. And it's head. So, principal is a guy. Redheaded stepchild. That's tails, so that's a girl. Any other people we need to know?
No, that's it.
That'll do for now. Okay, so male principal, female redheaded stepchild. The gentle giant. We should do the gentle giant.
yeah.
It's assumed male until you find out. Yeah, it's heads.
Yeah.
Okay, I was actually genuinely hoping for tails, like a big scary, but it's just your grandma. They're so happy to see you. Let's see, what else do we need?
I think that's all for the
Yeah,
gentleman.
so Alright, so the principal. The principal wants his son to be Romeo in the school play.
Right.
This, by the way, is where you can introduce a love triangle, because you need a love triangle in a story
no.
like this. So the rightful heir and the obsessed hobbyist are both or neither. So either one likes the girl, but the girl likes another one, or they both like the girl, or the girl likes one, the other one likes the other one, and the other one likes the girl.
Well,
You could do a literal love triangle, not like a love bent line where it's like A likes B likes C, but you could do A likes B likes C likes A.
Right.
You could do something like that with this, which is not something you can do very often.
I don't think that the obsessed hobbyist is gonna like the preppy guy. I don't think that's something we can do.
Yeah. I mean, you can go the other way around. Okay, yeah. We knew from the beginning the obsessed hobbyist was going to be the love interest.
Yeah.
So you could do.
I mean, the rightful heir might not even be interested in, but the dad is.
Yeah, that's true. Where he's like,
or
hey.
It's like he has a reputation upholding. He has to be Romeo, and the guy's reading too much into it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with the devil? How does that come in?
Well, obviously it messes with their relationship.
Yeah. Well, like, what's the actual, like, sit me in the room. How's the deal with the devil go?
Oh, he sits him in the room. He's like, alright, my son needs to be Romeo in the play. I know that you like this girl.
Okay, so what does he give the hobbyist? Like, what does he give him?
Well, he might blackmail him. Or he gives him expensive equipment that he's always wanted.
Oh, that would work, where it's the, okay, you could do it where he threatens to shut down the club. You could do it where it's a reward of some sort, or passing grades, because one of the things with the obsessed hobbyist is that their entire life is the hobby. So you could have it where he's failing all his classes, and he'll be held back a year unless he gives up the play.
Right.
And you can actually do that. I know,
maybe
like for sports,
maybe it's both.
because I know for sports, if your grade point slips below a certain point, you're not allowed to do sports.
Right.
I don't know if it's the same way for theater.
And
Where if you have like a 2.0, you can't be in the play. Because you don't want people spending hours and hours. Because I know with when they do school plays, you can easily be there till 2 a.m. rehearsing every day of the week. It's especially when Hell Week arrives. That's just insane. Yeah. So how does the power of love come around in the end? So the big finale, right? They're doing the musical of Romeo and Juliet, which I chuckle every time I say that because I can't imagine something that intense being a musical.
Right. Maybe he comes in like through the doors instead of like he's supposed to be behind stage and then he comes out after Juliet drinks poison. Oh wait, no, Juliet stabs herself.
Yes, Romeo drinks the poison. Juliet stabs herself.
Juliet drinks the paralyzer.
Yes. Okay. Here's the way it works. Juliet drinks the poison that isn't actual poison. Right. Then Romeo comes in, drinks a different poison that is actually poison. Right. Juliet wakes up, sees that he has died of the poison, and didn't leave any for her, so she takes up his knife and stabs herself.
You know, I always thought that story would be so much funnier if
they drank her poison.
Yeah, and they got paralyzed, and then they woke up after they stabbed themselves, and then they stabbed themselves.
That's just another layer of Casey, you remember the plot card we had called Contrived Stupidity?
Yeah.
This isn't that card.
Damn.
Alright. Oh. I feel like we need one more thing. We're standing on the cusp of completion with this story. We need just one more thing.
A theme?
A theme? We have a theme. The power of love. So the power of love needs to conquer in the end. Right. But how? Okay. We could add another character, another setting.
The love for his hobby overtakes him.
Remember when this used to be about ghosts? It wasn't about class elections and school plays?
Well, his hobby is ghosts.
Yeah. So I'm going to draw one more.
The ghosts help him.
I'm going to draw one more character, and this will be, I don't know, but this will be the character who's involved in the last act.
Right.
So we have the deal with the devil. The principal is basically the devil. So this will be the thing that shows up in the final act, or is somehow related to the villain with a point. Oh, no. Sometimes mustachio-twirling villain will not do, and the writer must pull out a villain who somehow actually makes a persuasive argument. Their twisted way of viewing the world manages to resonate with the audience, to the point where they may actually be preferred over the hero. The villain with a point, and you guess who they are? We already have said them. Exactly. Yeah. So the principal, who told the obsessive hobbyist, you cannot be Romeo, your grades are terrible. He was like, my son needs to be in charge of the school play, somehow needs to have a point.
Right. The point, alright, he actually does interrupt it.
The point is, the play doesn't matter with your relationship.
Oh, okay. So you could do this whole thing where it's like, I don't care if the two kiss, it's just a play. Because in every show I've ever seen that somehow involves like the school play and kissing on stage, it's always the male and female lead or the love interest or stuff like that. But having it actually be not the two love interests that do it,
right.
Where it's like a third person, because in the end, it's just a play.
Right.
That is interesting. I like that idea where the whole time you think the principal's the bad guy conspiring to ruin relationships and force his worldview on people, but instead he's like, not a great guy, but he genuinely was like, look, kids, this doesn't matter.
He's trying to end their obsessive personality.
Right. This doesn't matter. You need to do more than just chase ghosts. You need to do more than just pine after this one person. You need to do more than just sit around and tell people you're my son. You need to actually get up and do things.
Right.
I'm not going to lie, this is one of my favorite cards, but I think that could actually work where you have either the big confrontation on stage or before the play or after the play where the villain comes out and actually sits everyone down and explains why he did what he did and why that's actually a good thing.
Right. And I'm guessing they go through with the play.
Yeah. Mercutio is the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
I love that. They put on like a fake mustache and like, I'll be Mercutio! Romeo, how dare you insult me? Mercutio is one of my favorite characters from Shakespeare. He has all the best lines. Anything else?
We should probably go over the entire story.
Okay. Well, we're 30 minutes in,
right.
And that's what we had just done. But real quick, Casey, lead us through Act 1. I'll take Act 2, Andy will do Act 3.
So Act 1, there's this guy who's very obsessed with ghost hunting. He's hunting ghosts, and he meets this nice girl who can talk to ghosts, and they fall in love because of the power of love. And is the second act the one where they run to the big guy?
The second act is the one where you have the election, so the big guy is still technically the first.
Alright, so then they help this gentle giant move on through helping one of his old friends.
Okay.
Basically.
Alright, so the second act, you have the redheaded stepchild. Their parents die in a car wreck, and they move in with the rightful heir. So they move in with the rightful heir, and once they do, you notice all the kinds of the spooky paranormal stuff start happening. So the rightful heir seeks out the two nerds who have a club based on finding the paranormal and dealing with it. And it ends with helping the parents of the redheaded stepchild move over, or cross over if you would, and with the rightful heir and redheaded stepchild coming together to meet the 4-person minimum to create a club.
Yeah.
So after that, they do an election, and they place... It doesn't matter who in charge. I really don't think it matters who gets put in charge at this point, but I think it'd be funniest if they put the rightful heir in charge just because.
Right.
So after that, we get to Act 3, which is the musical. Andy, take us away.
Alright, so they find out that Romeo and Juliet is going to be on the theater club, and since Mary Sue is also part of this club,
from before the story began.
Yeah, they obviously get the best part in Juliet. So the obsessive hobbyist tries to get the part of Romeo.
With the help of ghosts.
Yes, but the principal says that he can't because he doesn't have good enough grades, and instead it's the principal's son that gets the part. After some attempts to try and get the part, the principal eventually sits all of them down and says that in the end, this is just a play, and that there is no connection to their relationships outside of the play.
Right. And that school comes first, so stop chasing ghosts, sit down, open up a book. Your grades are suffering, all 3 of you. 4 of you. I keep forgetting about the redhead stepchild. It's not wrong. The whole time, the redhead stepchild is just sitting next to everybody like, hey, what's going on over here? By the way, just like a minor thing, if this was to ever have a season 2 in it, they keep the sword from when they play Mercutio and they try and fence with ghosts or something. I love this already. Alright, And then it ends with everybody going out to get ice cream. Yeah,
Alright.
that's a great way to end the
Why
story.
ice cream?
Because it's the 60s. Remember Suburban
Oh,
Paradise?
yeah.
You end it by going out to get ice cream? I think we might have actually covered every single card. Oh, and the power of love. Can't forget the power of love.
Yeah.
Ghosts stick around because they love you. The redheaded stepchild's parents were watching over them because they loved their child and didn't want to leave them without knowing that their parents still loved her. Any closing thoughts to round this off? I think this might be our longest episode yet.
Yeah.
See, I told you we needed to go more in depth. We could have been done in 10 minutes.